on the show, and we've got Bob Dunn joining us from Ideal Protein. And Bob, you're always doing something with health, right?
I've always had a great interest in trying to resolve some of the issues that we have around chronic illness.
Okay, good.
That's a big thing.
It is.
It's a huge thing.
And it's costing us a small fortune in the medical industry, and we can't afford it. So
Exactly. Well, we were saying
people are
before.
going to have a lot of problems.
Well, and the thing about chronic, sorry,
Yeah, hospital administrators.
Well, the thing about
Yeah.
but this is totally avoidable. Like most chronic stuff is avoidable, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
If we just took responsibility for our health.
Well, and typically you have people like, obesity is our biggest issue. So obesity, diabetes.
Yes.
Essentially just being overweight, and over 50% of people who have diabetes die of heart disease. So
And die younger too.
Pardon?
And they die younger too, correct? You don't live as long.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, there's a doctor in the west end of the city here I love, but I didn't get his permission to say his name, so I won't. But he speaks 16 different languages in his office, so he deals with a few ethnicities. And some ethnicities have a lot more prevalent issues with weight than we Caucasians do. But he tells them all that he said he talks about waist circumference as another measure of health. And for every bit of extra weight you have around your waist, he said, you look at it as just having another organ. And all that organ is doing is spewing out bad chemicals. And if you don't take care of it, you will wind up with a chronic disease or two or three, and it will kill you.
Wow.
So, I mean, I love this guy because it's like bang right between the eyes.
Okay, but the question then, Bob, is, for me, how do you know what the right number for your waist is? How do you know? Because you're saying for every extra inch,
I know what it is. It should be, you should have ideally.
Well, we've been using the BMI index for a long time, which is
the body mass index, right?
Yeah.
But I use a machine that's connected to a university in Northern California, so it's just quick through your computer, and it's a body composition analysis.
Right.
So it gives you your percentage body fat.
Yeah.
And your risk factor.
Right. But we know what that is. It's like if you got love handles, you got some of this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Love handles.
No
Do you have love handles, Sandra?
I don't think so.
Well, we'll have to look later. Right?
See, but why did we call those love handles? Because it makes you think if people don't have them, then they don't have the love. And that's not true.
It's a nice way of saying you're fat.
But
right?
The issue is
It's true.
is our diets and too much sugar.
Yeah.
And especially added sugars to food. I mean, I've been saying for years that the food industry is out to kill us all.
Yeah. Well, so is the medical industry.
Well, yes, but in a medical industry is trying to do something, but as long as it's pharmaceutical and
Yes.
and we do it with food.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I'm
Yes.
saying,
Yeah.
So it's changing people's lifestyle habits and making them pay much more
Yes.
attention.
Yes.
But holding their hand through the process, because there's got to be a lot of education as opposed to just saying eat this and don't eat this. Right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
And I just thought like those first three articles that I threw at you there, they just in the last week.
Yeah.
We're now talking about how much sugar is too much sugar and added sugars and stuff like that, which, we've been, myself and the people I work with have been doing this for years. And then now the medical profession is trying to get Ottawa to come up with some numbers so people can monitor something of how much sugar you should have in your diet and so forth. And Ottawa is basically coming back and saying, no, we're not doing that. We're leaving it up to the food industry.
Right.
To do this. And they're the same. Now, these are the same group of people that we had discussions about 2-3 years ago about too much salt. So the government was coming up with regulation, then they backed off.
Yeah.
Our wonderful government in Ottawa. And so they backed off on that issue and said allowed the food industry to, well, they haven't done a thing. And here we go again. So, I mean, it's all about the big lobby groups.
Right. So let me just read a couple of these headlines because it's all about sugar and high sugar diet shown a triple risk of dying from heart disease. I didn't know that. I'd like to know what the link is between high sugar and heart disease, but the issue of safe consumption levels of sugar is controversial with industry and regulators. Health Group wants Ottawa to set sugar limits and the waist circumference, and
Research on calories erodes food pyramid theory. Healthy food policies at risk.
so first of all, what's that?
These are just all kind of stuff that's out there in the news all the time, but I don't think anybody's really paying attention.
So is it
No,
really
I,
sugar? Is that the real main culprit here?
Sugar's
Sugar
a
and
culprit.
fat. I would have
Sugar-
thought sugar and fat because there's a lot of things about fat and salt. Sugar, salt, and fat.
Well, yeah, did you read the book? Salt, Sugar, Fat that
Oh.
Michael Moss put out,
No.
who is a well-known journalist, investigative journalist. It was
Oh, God.
this past spring. It's pretty interesting about
So those
how
are the three.
food industry
Well, there you
builds
go.
the foods
'Cause
to what they call a bliss factor, so you will eat more.
Right. And
It's
those are
addictive,
the
right?
things. Those are the things that make food taste good.
Well,
And-
okay, so yeah, sugar, salt, and fat, and then to that point, the addictive would be caffeine, right?
Well, there's
Well,
probably a lot
sugar's-
of addictions, but
Yeah,
And the
sugar's,
sugar's in
you know what? People are addicted to wheat. They're addicted to
Yeah,
sugar.
okay.
They're addicted to salt.
average Canadian consumes 26 teaspoons of sugar a day.
Yeah.
Now, do you know that 4 carbs, when it's processed in your body, go to glucose equals a teaspoon of sugar.
Say that again. How much?
Carbohydrate.
Four
Yeah.
carbohydrates.
What is what is 4 carbohydrates?
Four-
4 grams, you mean?
4 grams of carbohydrates processed by your body into glucose is a teaspoon of sugar.
So can you make
So
that real
when you're
for
looking- when
me?
you're-
What's 4
well,
grams?
When you're looking at
Is that an apple?
4 grams, no, of carbs. So like, I mean, were you talking about carbs?
Spaghetti.
Yeah, yeah.
Or bread.
Yeah, but
right?
how much? How much? One slice of bread. How many carbs would one slice of bread? Okay, wow. So how many teaspoons of sugar would one?
Slice of bread is a good example.
Oh my! No way.
Yeah.
Way.
Way.
It's insane. I mean, like if you're looking at a nutrition label, look at the sugars. Now take your carbs, divide your carbs by 4, and that's the sugars that you're putting in your body. So an interesting stat that I came
Take the
across some
carbs-
time ago.
That's the number of teaspoons you're putting in your body. Right?
If you divide 4, yeah. So
Okay.
So, well, you get almost that in a Coke. So that's one drink. Not that I go anywhere near any of that stuff myself, but in 1905. Now, mind you, we were working more in the fields and harder labor or something in those days. But the average North American consumed 5 pounds of sugar a year. Want to guess what it is right now?
When was this? What year?
1905.
So that was 5
Sugar,
pounds in 1905.
Potatoes.
How many pounds of sugar do you think we're consuming annually now? With the question.
Oh, sorry.
I think you're being beamed by CIA mind control devices, Sandra.
No, I
This
thought
is
you
a
said. Can you guess what that sugar was from? Like what that
No.
sugar was? That's what I thought he
Can you
said.
guess how much the sugar intake is in 2013?
Oh
Let's
my
say.
God! I'm just so afraid to.
I'm waiting to be surprised. I don't know.
It's about 200 pounds.
Wow. So that's a 40.
For how long and
Whatever
over
that
what
I have
period?
no idea how much of a percentage increase it is. Doesn't
4,000%.
matter. I mean, we were healthy in
Yeah.
1905. We're not healthy today. What's our biggest problem? Weight.
Yes.
Obesity. 66% of our population are overweight.
I actually heard too that in the States, and I don't know where Canada stands on this, but 50% of the population in the States are considered predisposed, pre-diabetic. They're already disposed. Over 50% are already disposed, or predisposed, as they say, to diabetes,
Yep.
which I'm sure has a lot to do with their weight. So it's it's
Definitely their diet.
yes, which is related to their weight too, because a lot of diabetes are overweight, right? A lot of people who have diabetes are overweight.
Almost all of them. Type 2 diabetes.
Yes,
we're talking about,
yes.
not type 1.
Yes,
Because type 1 is what we used to call juvenile diabetes.
right. Yes,
But,
we're talking type 2. Good point.
I've got a stat here that I brought along. It was 2011 World Diabetes Day. It was a article or a supplement that they do in the Globe every year for Diabetes Month, the Diabetes Association. And they're suggesting that today more than 20 people are diagnosed with diabetes every hour of every day in Canada.
Yeah, I
Just,
believe it.
Just think of those numbers.
I believe it.
Do they
insane.
have any stats on the age range of that?
Well,
Because my guess is it's getting younger and younger.
It is, because we're getting people in their teens now. With
Yeah.
diabetes.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because
Wow.
when I'm working with a diet program, I'm working with dieters. I'm also banging on doors, so I'm trying to talk to doctors and so forth. And I send information to a doctor. If somebody has some complications in particular medicines and stuff like that, I want to get the doctor's approval before I put them on a program. Or subject to it maybe being a stronger, something that maybe could be more complicated. I want the doctor involved in monitoring the process. And I'd say 99% of the time, the doctor comes back and said, this isn't for you, because the doctor doesn't want to read the information. He doesn't want to learn anything. And he's all considered, and they're trained to be subject to liability issues all the time, because it's all like pharmaceutical. That's what,
Exactly.
That's what they're taught.
That's the paradigm that they live in. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them.
Well,
and that's why people have to take responsibility for their own health, right?
But I was just reading an article this morning in the paper, yesterday's paper. Gifford Jones, who's an MD, who's like, I think he's 90 years old or something now, and he's just written another book, and that's why this thing was out. But he's saying that how things that he's been trying to push, and he is a well-known doctor,
And he's
with UT
facing,
and so forth, and he's saying, like, there's thousands and thousands of doctors out there that don't pay any attention. So he's fighting against it, and he's on the inside.
Yeah, yeah.
So, from the outside, it's I think the people have to recognize the issues and get more involved themselves.
So if you came to my doctor and wanted to work with my doctor said, okay, no, I don't endorse this. If I said, look, I want you to look at this, I want to take this, are they obligated then?
No.
But
I would recommend that you get another opinion.
Okay.
So So tell us about Ideal Protein.
Ideal protein is essentially, and I wrote this down because it's a mouthful. I get tongue twisted sometimes, but it's a low carb, low fat, adequate amount of protein, partial meal replacement, ketogenic diet.
Okay.
Ketogenic.
Ketosis. Ketosis is basically, it's a medical term for when your body is in a state where it's using your stored fat for energy.
Okay.
Think about.
But is that good?
Think about being lost in the desert.
Yeah, but that's
It's not good if you're really thin,
but
I
you're burning
guess.
your fat if you're doing that, which
No,
is
but the purpose.
Yeah.
Well, but if you're overweight,
yeah.
the problem with. Okay, let's go back to the sugar and carb
Sure.
conversation. Because our pancreas is running like an overheated engine. It's just going all the time. Every time you add sugar or carb through your mouth, you getting the pancreas to produce insulin. You only need a certain amount of insulin to control your blood sugar level.
Right.
The rest of that insulin is stored as fat. And that's this fat around our waist that kind of blows up all over your body eventually if you don't take care of it.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. So overproduction of insulin. So what you want to do, ketogenic diet, we put them into ketosis. So that means that we feed them 4 times a day. We make sure they get the adequate amount of protein they need and minerals and vitamins. If they were on a standard 2,200 calorie diet, they only get 1,000 calories because they're using 1,200 calories from their stored fat. So therefore, they're in fat burning mode 24/7.
With this product.
Yep.
Okay, so this product is helping to get rid of that fat, and yet
It's more of a protocol in what you do and what you don't do.
right. So it's a program that includes this
product.
protein.
Well,
Is it a drink?
Well, no, I get 75 different flavors of. So I have breakfast. I get pastas. I have snacks.
Oh, so it's actually in the food.
75. Well, it's a partial meal. You're adding this to whole food.
Okay.
So it's a partial meal.
I see.
But what the
Okay.
packages are high biological protein, and they're all coming from organic sources, primarily farms in northern France and in Germany, because we can guarantee that there's no GMO involved in those countries because they're not allowed.
Right, right.
And you can't do it here. But so it's about as clean food as you can get. So we're adding that to like vegetables. You get 4 cups of vegetables a day from an approved list, and they're all low GI, low glycemic index. So, and for people who may not know what glycemic index is, Dr. David Jenkins here in Toronto was the guy that coined that and developed that several years ago, and it basically is the sugar content of food. So, like root vegetables like carrots and stuff like that, carrots and beets that have a lot of sugar in them, they're not on this diet.
So what kinds of vegetables are on the diet that are good for low glycemic?
Broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, lots of green stuff.
Okay, okay.
So, and they got a lot of good minerals and vitamins in them
So
as well.
eat like a rabbit.
Well, and you can have, but we also allow people to have their own meal in a day. So it's easy for people to work and take to work with and stuff like that. And at home, they're doing their own meal.
So they can integrate it with their existing lifestyle no matter what, right?
Yeah. So if they're doing 5 to 8 ounces of like lean meats or fish or something like that, unless they're vegetarian, then if they're vegetarian.
Can you do this on a vegetarian?
Yeah. Vegan, no. But vegetarian, yes. So vegetarian I would give it a vegetarian an extra packet.
Now, we were talking about doctors earlier. Is this something you need a prescription for, or can people actually who want to deal with these issues, can they get started on their own without a doctor's
They
permission?
can't get started on their own. They have to go to a clinic. So part of what I do is help set up a clinic. So I go around and try and find somebody who wants to take this on with a business model, and I work with them until they know what they're doing and they can talk the way I'm talking and so forth. And so I spend a lot of time with these clinics so that they've got up to 20, 30, 40 dieters on their roster, and they're working with this. And I come back and visit them all the time, and I'm available to them 24/7 by phone or email as well.
So who are you really speaking to today? Are you speaking to the end users of the product, or are you trying to reach the people that might consider setting up these clinics so that they can...
All of the above.
Okay.
I mean, we got 66% of our population needs to be paying attention to this. I have cardiologists that have a couple here. One cardiologist out of California, and it's interesting because of the way she put this. But she works with the Ideal Protein Protocol in her office. She says, I tell my patients that the primary purpose of the program is to heal the body and reverse adverse metabolism. If we're successful in doing that, weight loss occurs naturally as a secondary byproduct.
Right.
So, and it's, and we have others. I mean, I have a couple of cardiologists who, one particular in the States, said this protocol is a safe scientific way to reduce weight, reverse chronic illness with spectacular results. And he can't get this intervention with anything else.
So can you speak a little bit about some of the people you've worked with who have had positive results from this? It must be really gratifying for you.
Oh, it is. It is. I mean, and when I really get excited, I mean, I've dealt with people that are in their 70s who've had, high blood pressure issues and so forth, and all that stuff disappeared. And, I get this big hug and tears, and thanks for giving me my life back. But I think so we actually work with these people so that this is a sustainable thing.
Right.
We have...
It's a lifestyle.
Well, it's a lifestyle change, so we're encouraging the lifestyle changes, and we're sticking with these people when they finish to support these people so that they can sustain this. So they check back in with us. We have videos now that have been done by a doctor, and so every morning somebody gets a video from me or the clinic that's doing. So that if they're working with a particular clinic, that clinic is sending them videos. Every morning they get a 3-minute little YouTube-style video learning something more about nutrition and what they're doing. So they're getting information every day. So it's slowly, I mean, I've had people come, I had a Chinese lady not that long ago, last year or something, and I'm saying tell her that she can't have rice. Well, she says, Bob, look at me. She says, I'm Chinese. Chinese people have to have rice.
It is law, like Canadians skate.
So I said, So I
Play
said
hockey.
So I said to her, like, just humor me for a week and a half, right? And then she came back to me the following week, and she said, I don't even miss it.
Wow.
But it's how these people they're changing their lifestyle, they're changing their eating habits, and what I really get encouraged with is I've dealt with a lot of young girls lately that I'm not young, they're like in 20s to 30s, so forth, and these people have changed their whole thinking about food,
Yeah.
their attitude
Yeah.
about food,
Yeah.
and these people are about to be getting involved in relationship and having children, and those children are never going to have the problem.
Yes,
because
yes,
we've taught
yes.
the right people.
Awesome.
So-
That's what this is all about.
Okay, so now I just want to ask you, because we're just about out of time, but there have been a lot of diet programs, a lot of strategies for people over the years,
Yeah.
for people to deal with weight problems, to deal with some of these dietary issues. What is different and unique about this program that makes it better than anything that's come
Well,
before?
most of what I said here on that, the low carb, low fat, is a typical type of things. Well, they use the Canada Food Guide, cut your food requirements in half. So you're getting, you're not getting the inadequate amount of protein. You're not getting the minerals and vitamins, and one of the body's first reaction when you're basically starving itself, so you're forcing the body to go after its own stored fat, is a good portion of what it's going after is your muscles. So these people are losing their muscle mass.
Yeah.
So if you get the whole concept of the yo-yo diet stuff
Yeah.
that people have, it's because they've lost all their muscle mass.
Yeah.
So that now their body's going after, trying to get that back. They'll never get it all the way back.
Right.
But they're going after that. So now they're putting on more weight than they lost.
Right. And that's what happens.
And
Yeah.
they have a diet
Yeah.
that's basically the same diet, just except cut in half. We cut a whole bunch of stuff out and teach them why.
Well, I'm interested to know why you would cut rice out, because I've always thought rice was a good thing.
High carb.
Of course, it's high carb.
Right, of course. But it's gluten-free. So I'm just like, okay, everything's about gluten-free.
But this is all about carbs and sugars.
Okay,
Because
yeah,
what
yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing
Okay.
here is we don't want to spike the pancreas to produce insulin.
Okay.
So we want to
Okay.
limit the insulin production. So we don't want we want to give the pancreas a well-needed rest. It's
Yeah.
running like an overheated engine,
Yeah.
as I said, right?
Yeah, and
So,
that's
so you got to stay away from anything that's going to
makes
do
sense.
that.
Okay.
One question. Can I have
Yeah,
one
yeah,
question?
do
Okay.
it.
How long is the program? How long before people see results?
Depends on how much before they see results.
Yes.
A week.
Oh, wow. Okay, and then how long are they generally on? And then how long is the
Depends on
maintenance
how-
program?
Depends on how it's maintenance program is their life.
Okay, so they always
They
can
don't-
come back
yeah.
for life when you say
Well,
maintenance
you
program.
want to have a healthy lifestyle for life.
But I know,
right?
but you say you connect with them.
They don't need to be a part of this program. We're teaching them how to eat,
Okay.
what foods to eat. We encourage people when they're in their maintenance phase to have a cheat day, have a great day to do. But what you do the following day is you do
Get back on.
what you've learned. No, don't get back on you don't have to get back on the program. But what you have to do is do a very low carb, low fat day, and a lot of protein, right? So that you're
Okay.
basically resetting that metabolism.
So if someone is in really bad shape, just to give us an idea, for someone who's in a worst case scenario, so they'd start to see results in maybe a week.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna see it, and if people are quite overweight, then usually they have a lot of water retention,
Okay.
fluid retention.
Yep.
So I mean, I've seen people lose 11, 12 pounds in a first week.
And it's safe.
Yeah, I mean, well, most of that is
Water.
Is water.
Okay.
But you will lose. Women average 2 to 3 pounds a week. Men 4 to 5.
And before they get to their comfort, their weight management, where they want to be, where their goal is that like a year or how long?
Depends on how much weight they need to lose.
In a bad
you're
say
gonna- if you're
somebody
gonna-
who is who should be
Let's say
150 and they're
a lady wants to lose, or she's going to lose 3 pounds a week. How much weight does she want to lose? She wants to lose 30 pounds.
okay.
All right? So
Okay.
10 weeks.
Okay. So it's that systematic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
okay.
it's not drastic. It's
The science basically, we used to have different science, but today's science basically says 2% of your body weight fat a week
right.
in loss is fine.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's-
Okay. It's good to know, so when people watching can just get
It's
an idea as
interesting
to.
because with women and stuff, it's also changing hormonal stuff.
Yes,
So with people
yes.
with menstrual things that are
Yeah.
that are all over the map, it's bringing them back into normal. Gynecologists love the results they're getting with PCOS, which is a huge issue these days. Polycystic ovarian
Okay.
syndrome.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have some people in the U.S. Are using this in fertility clinics, where they're using this as the first level of protocol in a fertility clinic because it's stabilizing stuff.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah. So I would say that people with PCOS, probably 50% of them have a weight issue.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
So it's just it's basically chronic illnesses and all these things are related to inflammation in the body. This is anti-inflammatory, so it's reversing those procedures. And if you don't have any procedures, learning this stuff early on in life is the best health
Yes.
preventative.
Yes. So you'll
process
never
there
have to
is.
deal with it
Yeah.
down the line. Wow. Sounds amazing.
And it's food.
Yeah,
It's
there you go.
Wow.
So Bob, so if people are out there and they want to, maybe get on the program because they're dealing with some of these issues, or if somebody out there recognizes a business opportunity here, what's the best way to get more information or get in touch with you?
They can contact me by phone, which is 416-788-1553, and that's my cell phone. Or they can email me at, I could use the Ideal Protein. My Ideal Protein email is rdunn@idealprotein.com.
Okay, is there a website or anything?
Idealprotein.com.
So they can get more info there.
So there's not a lot of science are there, and the
Yeah.
business opportunity stuff's not there. It's more consumer based, but it's got all kinds of a lot of information.
Well, what better way to actually get the info they need than just get in touch with you and just get the conversation started, right?
Yeah, and if I'm not convenient to them, I will find somebody that is.
Okay, awesome.
Perfect.
Okay.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Okay.
That was quite
Thanks
an
for coming in.
education.
A pleasure.
I want to get on the program, even though I hardly have any love handles at all,
So that's interesting. Why would you want to get on the program?
because there's a little bit there, Sandra, and I just don't want my pancreas to be running.
So I guess,
Overtime.
we'll
Right?
have to check that after, Hugh.
Oh, yeah, check my pancreas. Okay. All right, we're going to be right back. We got Zach Green and Richard Powell coming on the show from Fatal Pictures. We'll be right back here on Liquid Lunch.